You're watching ESPN's Feast Week presented by Lowe's. We're here at TD Arena for the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic. And we are thrilled to be back in the beautiful historic city of Charleston, South Carolina. 8 teams here as usual, but this year we're in 2 separate brackets, so we'll have 2 champions crowned on Sunday. We begin this low country bracket with Utah State taking on Tulane, to be followed here on ESPN2 by Davidson against Boston College. With Chris Patola, I'm Doug Sherman. For Utah State, they're going to have to deal with one of the better point guards in the country from Tulane, Rowan Brumbaugh.
Yeah, the American Conference's preseason player of the year has been all of that. Leads Tulane in points, rebounds, assists, steals, scores it all over the floor. He is exceptional at getting to the foul line, taking almost 10 free throws a game. So you got to be able to play him without fouling, deny him the basketball. He's had a great start to the year.
But this is a tough draw for Ron Hunter's Green Wave. Utah State comes into this Charleston Classic as the favorite in this bracket. They are 4-0, and Jared Calhoun's team has had extreme success in these MTEs in recent years. They have won the titles, Chris, in 3 of their last 4 years in these early season events. Myrtle Beach in 21, Cayman Islands in 23, and the NIT season tip-off last year, and they have gone a combined 10-1. So Utah State on defense to begin. Going to be a tough challenge for number 7 in white, Brumbaugh, who hands it off to KJ Green, and a change in the starting lineup today for Tulane. Here is Green getting the start at the point to move Brumbaugh off the ball and perhaps free him up a little bit.
Yeah, Green much more of a table setter, pass first.
But on their first possession, nearly a 3 made by Green on the feed from Brumbaugh.
Both these teams, Doug, play a matchup zone.
Carson Templin kicks it back outside. MJ Collins, who last year was at Vanderbilt, played in the NCAA tournament, misses, but there to clean it up, the mayor of Logan, Utah, Mason Falslev. And there you see the veteran starting 5 being employed by Ron Hunter. And part of that is just getting used to the matchup zone defense that takes time. The new guys usually struggle with that.
Well, and they're different. You know, it's rare that you may play a team 4 or 5 times a year that plays a matchup zone. It's rare to have 2 teams doing the same thing. Utah State is a little more aggressive. They'll come farther out. They'll trap the ball a little bit out of that matchup zone.
Along the baseline as Falslev penetrates, he is fouled.
You know, I think both these coaches at other stops they've been at, you know, Ron Hunter at IUPUI before he moved up his ranks, and then Jared Calhoun was at Youngstown State. You know, they were trying to figure out defensively how to compete. And, you know, one of the things, you can either be better or different. And what they found with this matchup zone is being different has been good for their programs. Teams aren't comfortable playing against it.
And Chris, while they both play a matchup zone, do they play identical defenses? And what exactly is a matchup zone?
You know, matchup is going to look a lot more like a man defense than your conventional 2-3. So it's going to look like a switching man-to-man, essentially. The difference between the two is Utah State, if a ball handler turns to the back, they're going to attack that dribble. Like, they're going to be much more aggressive in randomly attacking the basketball. And then Tulane, as you see here, Doug, like, they're going to pick up little 2-2-1, 3/4 court pressure back into their matchup.
This is Drake Allen back in the starting lineup after missing Utah State's last game with a high ankle sprain. He did return to practice fully on Wednesday, worked out yesterday, and he is good to go. They get it into the paint for Falslev for the little floater to make it 4-2 Aggies.
And that's the vulnerability, is right at that foul line, right in the middle of the paint.
Off the block shot by Templin. Here comes Utah State with numbers. They can turn defense into offense quickly. Falslev scores, but he hit his head and is holding his head as he heads back up court. Well, I mentioned Falslev is known as the mayor. Second team All Mountain West Conference last year. He is a local from Benson, Utah. Tyler Ringgold in tight for his first 2.
Ringgold, much improved offensively. Played last year a lot because of his defense. Been pretty efficient for them so far this year.
Here's Brumbaugh at the point. Asher Woods makes his way into the lane from along the baseline. Bottled up, has it ripped away, and here comes a run out once again for Utah State. Anderson fends off the defender, and Tucker Anderson lays it in.
How about that steal? Drake Allen just ripping it out of the hands of the veteran Asher Woods. It's been a Tulane team that has taken pretty good care of the basketball so far this year.
Green is fouled on the shot. Yeah, they are 11th in the country, Tulane is. Only 8.5 turnovers per game.
And part of that is they play at a slow tempo, and their defense forces teams to take a lot of time. So there's not a lot of possessions in the game, but it's a veteran backcourt. I mean, both these teams brought back veteran returning guards to their lineups. Asher Woods and Rowan Brumbaugh for Tulane. And then Falslev, who you have mentioned, and Drake Allen for Utah State.
Green makes the first, and we have our first substitutions of the afternoon. Curtis Williams Jr., with previous stops at Louisville and Georgetown, number 99 in white, has come in. And also keep your eye on number 11 in blue for Utah State, Gary Clark. He is off to a terrific start to his year, averaging a double-double in reserve.
Teams against Tulane's defense this year playing a little over 20 seconds of possession. A lot of that having to do with that three-quarter court press, and then, you know, that matchup zone makes you work for the shot you want.
Brumbaugh commits the foul, his first, against a Utah State team that has had its trouble turning the basketball over. They average over 13 turnovers a game, including 18 against VCU. That has not kept them from winning, though, and just off the bench, Clark has his first two, continuing a trend of all of Utah State's points so far coming in the paint.
He has been a revelation, Gary Clark.
There's another takeaway by Clark this time. The freshman Elijah Perryman dumps it off, and the throwdown by M.J. Collins. Ron Hunter uses his first timeout of the afternoon as the Aggies are off to a flying start here to begin the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere. Utah State off to a quick 12-6 lead over Tulane here in Charleston. And welcome back, everybody. With Chris Spatola, I'm Doug Sherman. The Aggies are a regular in the NCAA tournament. They have been 25 times, the most by any Mountain West Conference team, including the last 3 years, for the last 5. And it doesn't matter seemingly who's their head coach. They still get to the big dance.
They sure do. It's a great program with great history. Talking to Jared Calhoun in his second year there about his, you know, just his experience at Utah State. He says he loves it. He says he gets mature players. His two starting guards are both married. So there's an opportunity to recruit players to Logan and to a program with great history. And the school is obviously well invested. And they hire the right people. I mean, you know, the job that Jared Calhoun has done in the short time there, the job he did at Youngstown State is fantastic.
Drake Allen and Mason Falslev are the two married men on Jared Calhoun's roster.
These turnovers are killing Tulane.
Yeah, the defense just taking it away. Falslev on the floor to get it, but then the Green Wave able to take it right back. Williams from the wing. He's got his first three off the bench today. The junior from Detroit makes it 12-9.
It's not a Tulane team that has shot it well from three on the year, but Williams, the transfer from Georgetown, shooting about 40%. You know, it's been a little bit inconsistent otherwise, but has shot it well.
This is Colby King, number 7 in Navy. He's a former Tulane player. A couple of years ago, he was with the Green Wave. Personal foul called on Scotty Middleton. His first personal. Our officials for this first game of the Charleston Classic: Bharat Ramnanan, Jerry Heater, Luke Schumer. Inbound comes to the former Green Wave. Colby King, corner three is an air ball long, and Gary Clark, since coming off the bench, now he is denied by Daniels. Back inside they go. Daniels gets his second block shot, and in between he had time to complain to the official. But I was starting to say, Gary Clark has been in the game for maybe a minute, and you know he's out there, number 11 in blue. Here he is defending Williams on the perimeter. Williams again, this time from well beyond the three-point line, and he's got 6 quick points off the bench.
Shot selection is so big against both of these matchup zones. You know, finding the right opportunity, and then the opportunity to knife the defense, to put it on the floor. Utah State, you want somebody at that foul line, but you see Tulane matching up. You know, you mentioned Clark. What an unbelievable start to the year he's had. He leads the nation free throw rate. He's just an absolute bull around the basket. He's one of the best offensive rebounders in the country. A little over 4 offensive rebounds a game. Just been a blue-collar worker.
He sets the screen. Collins sets it loose and swishes the three. The former Virginia Tech Hokie and former Vanderbilt Commodore has 5 points. He puts Utah State back in front. Brumbaugh for the tie. It rattles out. Williams fights for it. It'll stay at this end as he and Elijah Perryman got tied up.
You know, that's where shot selection is obviously big in any game for any team, but against these matchup zones, shots you think are there, those windows can close. And I think for Rowan Brumbaugh, trying to get himself into this game, you know, it takes a tough look at the top there.
Out of the baseline, out of bounds. A good look by Woods. Perryman and Collins in the backcourt along with King. Into the game, Zach Keller, number 32 for Utah State, posting up inside Gary Clark, and he gets shoved from behind on the entry pass. Daniels called for the foul. That is his first personal. Well, Utah State in the preseason poll in the Mountain West is picked behind the unanimous choice, San Diego State, to be the second best team in the league. Boise State 3, Grand Canyon 4. And there's no reason to think that this mix of newcomers and veterans for the Aggies won't be in the mix for another trip to the NCAA tournament. Clark making himself known.
A good ball movement there, and a nice little cut by Clark right through the middle.
And you see the respect that has been heaped upon the Aggies program coming in. You just keep going back to the NCAA, and eventually people are going to notice. Asher Woods on the pull-up from the elbow, no. Rebound grabbed by Elijah Perryman, the freshman from San Francisco who got his first career start last time out. King coughed it up. Here comes Tulane. Brumbaugh runs to the three-point line and buries it. 17-15, back to a two-point ball game.
And that is a good find. In transition, early offense. Nice job by Brumbaugh hunting that three-point line. Good pass, good finish.
Perryman pass to the corner. Collins back out front. King. Now Perryman, who has been an impact freshman. The wraparound pass denied by Williams on the layup. Terrific recovery inside. And here come the Green Wave down by 2. Brumbaugh fouled, and he will shoot 3 free throws for the lead. Clark on the closeout commits the personal.
He just has a knack for getting himself to the foul line. How about a knack early in this game for denials at the rim? Give me that. Tulane's defense protecting the basket.
In our first semifinal of the Low Country bracket here in Charleston, Utah State with a 2-point lead over Tulane. And the Green Wave led by Rowan Brumbaugh, a top 100 recruit coming out of Northfield Mount Hermon a few years ago. We've gotten just a glimpse of how good he can be here today.
When you get a glimpse of the attention he draws, he dominates the scouting report. They fouled him on a 3-point shot going to break. No, the one thing he is doing so well is he's getting to the foul line. Great scorers know how to get themselves to the foul line. He's averaging 20 points a game, but he's taking almost 10 free throws a game, and when he gets there, he's automatic, shooting 92%. So it's been a big part of how he is generating his offense, and a lot of it having to do with his craft, Doug. I mean, he gets himself into the paint. He's got all the shot fakes, the moves. He's very good at drawing, as you saw going to break, good at drawing fouls on his jump shot. He's very good when he's got the ball in his hands of drawing contact from the defender. He's just a very crafty scorer who had an outstanding season last year and is off to just a great start this year.
Yeah, he is now 38 for 41 this year from the free throw line.
Yeah.
And I don't think he caught iron at all. It's now a 6-0 Tulane run. Brumbaugh has scored all 6 of those points. Templin tries to dump it off, but again, the help side defense of Williams with the takeaway.
The back half of this matchup for Tulane has been very active. Blocking shots, coming over from the weak side to take that one away.
Good recovery defensively for Zach Keller. With 11 on the timer, it'll be Tulane basketball underneath.
You know, both these teams, a lot of times you'll struggle against a matchup because you don't practice against it or see it all that often. Both these teams obviously playing it, you see it in practice, you assume every day, and Utah State looking a little uncomfortable.
Tough shot for Asher Woods. He gets the friendly roll. Young man who started his career at VMI, a senior from Atlanta with very high hopes coming into the year, averaging just under 10 points per game.
It's nice to have a guard in your program for 3 years. His 3rd year with this program under Ron Hunter. You don't get that type of continuity these days. And he's just really crafty. I mean, that's where the two of them, Woods and Brumbaugh, you've got 2 veteran guards in your backcourt. And part of the mission today, why you start a KJ Green, is I think Ron Hunter wanting to take Brumbaugh and Woods off of the ball to give them a little bit more freedom to score.
And Coach Hunter has said he thinks Brumbaugh and Woods are the best backcourt combination in the American Conference. Woods is closing in on 1,000 career points. He's 69 away. Here he is with the basketball with 7 on the shot clock. Collins cuts him off, pass it back out to the perimeter. Scotty Middleton rattles home the 3. An 11-0 run for the Green Wave. This is their largest lead of the ball game.
And the run started with getting defensive stops, and now you see the penetration against that Utah State zone, sucking the defense in, turning heads, and able to kick out for 3.
The 5th turnover committed by Utah State, and again, that's been a problem so far this year for Coach Calhoun's team.
It has. It's surprising for an old group. It's a really veteran Utah State team, but it is one of those things that Jared Calhoun was telling us about. He said it's been a real problem for us early in the year.
Tulane has not played since last Saturday, a loss at home to in-city rival New Orleans. Falslev attacks the rim and finishes. And in pursuit, Percy Daniels is holding his knee.
Falslev probably got fouled. What a finish through Daniels. I mean, just a lazy pass, can't be made. And what a finish. And there's contact there. He has become, Falslev, we know he can shoot. He has become so good finishing at the basket. Shooting about 60% from 2 over the last 2 years.
And Chris, you know, he was 12th nationally in steals last year, nearly 2.5 steals per game.
He's one of the best. Falslev is one of the best players in the Mountain West. I mean, he's expanded his game every year. He's an all-around player. And he's a very good guard rebounder. I mean, he averaged 6 rebounds a game last year.
And he's averaging nearly that this year. You know, he's such a good athlete. He received more power conference offers as a football player coming out of Skyview High School in Utah than he did basketball. But he wanted to play hoops. And that's the kind of athlete he is. 6'4", 200 pounds, a junior from tiny Benson, Utah. Grew up a huge Aggies fan, attended his first Utah State hoops game as a second grader at the Spectrum. We've seen this baseline out of bounds work repeatedly now today for Coach Hunter. Once again, Woods with a clean look.
Yeah, it's good to see Woods here get going early. Hasn't shot a great percentage from the field so far this year.
Collins steps into a 3. The senior from Clover, South Carolina, who has plenty of family who've made the trip here to Charleston, draws the Aggies back within 3.
Collins played in this event last year with Vanderbilt. 2 years in a row playing in the Charleston Classic.
Strong finish by Asher Woods. He's got 6 points. Quickly back the other way, Collins with it. And Collins has given Utah State a lot more scoring than I think anybody anticipated. He's got 8 already today, half his season average. He has more than doubled his season average, and clearly anything more than we saw from his time at Virginia Tech.
Well, and last year at Vanderbilt, Collins wants to score now, and I don't think he ever felt comfortable. You know, it was a deep Vanderbilt roster, of course, an NCAA tournament team, and I don't think he ever felt comfortable in that lineup, especially offensively. Found much more of a home here with Utah State.
Drake Allen sets up Anderson. Allen, a pass-first point guard, gives to Collins, and after the flyby, beautiful offense right there. He and Falslev both in double figures, and Utah State is drawn back to within a point. Another deflected pass by Drake Allen. Now he defends Ringgold and takes it away. Utah State reclaims the lead on the dunk by Allen.
And that's twice now in this first half that Allen has just big boyed who he's guarding and just kind of taken the ball from him.
Now he turns 24 in January, 6'5", 205. He's a guy coming out of Westlake High School who did not have any Division I offers. For 3. And the seesaw continues with the Green Wave back in front. That snaps a 6-0 Utah State run. Good box out by Clark. He's averaging more than 10 rebounds per game off the bench for Utah State. Collins to the high post. Clark faces up, brings it back out to Collins, and Clark sets the screen.
It's passed.
Screen and roll. Clark earns another trip to the free throw line. A wildly entertaining start to this ball game here, Chris.
And Drake Allen bullying, going Debo. So let me take your cookies. Finish on the other end, and then Rowan Brumbaugh, too much space. He's wet.
Welcome back to Charleston, South Carolina. An opportunity to see a Tulane team that is honoring the memory and dedicating this season to one of their own. Greg Glenn III unfortunately died in the summer of an accidental drowning. He was a big part of what Coach Hunter and his staff were building for this year, and the emotional toll continues for Tulane. Percy Daniels was his roommate for a couple of years. Asher Woods best friends with Greg Glenn. And in talking to Ron Hunter last night, once they got here to town from New Orleans, that was pretty much all he wanted to talk about. They have the GG pins on the coaching staff and the GG look on the uniform. And it's emotional. There is no playbook for him and for his staff to work their way through it, so they've got counselors with them at all times. And he says his team has good days and bad days. And I imagine the same is true for Utah State's Colby King. He was a teammate at Tulane a couple of years ago, and he also was very, very close to Greg Glenn. So it's hard for everybody trying to work their way through this now 5 months after the passing of a young man who was only 22 years old.
Well said, Doug. Yeah, incredibly tragic. You know, you mentioned there's no coaching handbook that covers things like that for Ron Hunter. There's no, it's not in the player's handbook either. You know, seeing a teammate and friend, seeing something like that happen. You know, it was talking to Ron Hunter, he was saying the last conversation he had with Greg before he passed, he said, we're going to do this, talking about the season. We're going to win the conference, go to the NCAA tournament. And Ron Hunter said, he said the same thing when he left the funeral. He said, we're going to do this and we're going to do it in Greg's honor.
Asher Woods, his best friend, off to a hot start, honoring the memory of his buddy Gigi, Greg Glenn III. Asher Woods, along with Rowan Brumbaugh, one of the better backcourts in the conference. Drake Allen picks up his dribble, 5 on the timer, 5 minutes to go in the half. Falslev, step back 3 is an air ball. Woods being defended by his former Tulane teammate. With the defender going down, nice job to find the corner. Jump shot from KJ Green.
The ability to get inside this Utah State matchup early in the possession, knifing that zone, has led to these kickouts and shooters ready to fire.
Here's Falslev, who leads all scorers with 12. Collins steps inside the three-point line, and he has really looked good on the offensive end today, Chris.
He sure has, and that's 2 pull-ups in the mid-range. Shot fake. You can see defenders. Scouting report says fly at MJ Collins. Nice use of the shot fake. 1 dribble into that pull-up.
Michael Anthony Jerome Collins Jr. has 12 points. He and Falslev lead the way, but the Aggies still trail by 4 here late in the first half. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's.
Seth, Malcolm, Zubin coming up at the half. We'll take a look at what else is going on around Feast Week today and look back at an absolute classic last night in the Bahamas. That's all on the way. What have we seen in the first half here?
Well, the matchup zone, really, Tulane doing a great job disguising it. 11 points off of turnovers. Their defense is creating some offense, Coach.
I think it's the difference to be 2 teams and how they're defending or attacking these matchup zones. Tulane shooting the 3, knocked down 7 threes so far. Utah State going inside against the matchup, scoring 22 points so far against the matchup zone in the paint.
See you at the half.
Thank you, Zubin. Hot coach. And yes, Tulane off to a flying start shooting the basketball, Chris. 7 for 14. They've hit all 5 of their free throws, and as we expected, Rowan Brumbaugh has been leading the way for the Green Wave.
Yeah, shooting the ball much better than they have on the season. And it's really loosened up this Utah State matchup, and that has led to penetration.
Not sure where that whistle came from. Is it after the shot, on the shot? It's going to go against Carson Templin, his first, and it's going to be a 2-shot foul. And so KJ Green out of Pace Academy in Atlanta, was a 4-star recruit, originally signed with Johnny Dawkins at UCF, but never suited up in Orlando and flipped his commitment to Tulane. He got the start today at the point, although that really doesn't seem to change the calculus all that much. He is still the backup point guard, if you will. It is Rowan Brumbaugh's show to run.
Some guys are better in the starting lineup, though. You know, I mean, they're just more comfortable. He has been very good in this first half. Hit a 3, his second 3 of the year. It's a guy who only played 7 minutes a game last year, so he's taken on a much bigger plate this season.
Well, Chris, this has been a game of runs, now an 8-2 run for Tulane. Templin, good interior passing on the assist from Gary Clark.
And that's good offense. You get the penetrating pass with the post feed to Gary Clark, then a nice job playing in the middle of that zone to find Templin.
Templin's first 2 points. His father, Eric, is a BYU graduate and grudgingly has come over to the Aggie side, rooting at least when Utah State is not playing against BYU for his son's team, of course. His son picks up the rebound, has it poked away by Brumbaugh, who bulls his way to the lane, and Templin is called for the foul.
Brumbaugh's tough. I mean, he's just a tough character. He had 10 steals in their 4 games coming into this tournament. He's never out of the play. He's always on to the next one. Got a short memory.
Here's tonight's featured ESPN women's college basketball matchup. Jazzy Davidson and number 11 USC square off against Hannah Hidalgo, the nation's leading scorer, 34 points per game, and the 24th ranked Irish. 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, also available on the all-new ESPN app.
Talk about scoring the basketball.
Man. Hannah Hidalgo is worth the price of admission every single time, all by herself. 3 minutes to go, first half, in our first game of the Low Country bracket here at the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic. Falslev able to muscle his way through the defender and finish.
He's had a great first half. He's been on the attack. He's the one guy who's been able to find consistency getting into the middle off of the dribble.
Brumbaugh looking for the foul. Utah State coughs it up. Trying to find Elijah Perryman. He could not handle the pass.
I mean, just an attack, and you attack Brumbaugh, who's already got the 1 foul, doesn't want to pick up a second. Tulane obviously needs him on the floor. It's a nice job fighting through that contact, and still a tough finish.
Yeah, the defender, Josiah Moore, had his entire hand on the basketball, and yet still Falslev was undeterred. Percy Daniels gives it back to Asher Woods. 3 on the timer. Long range 3 off the front iron. Here comes Perryman. El Amin tracks down the long pass. No look pass inside. And another denial at the rim by Percy Daniels.
He has been outstanding at the front of the rim in this first half. Percy Daniels.
He is the senior member of this Tulane team, the rare 4-year player at one school. And collectively, the Green Wave with 5 block shots here today. Green attacks and has it taken away. El Amin with a step on the defense, and he lays it off the window.
You know, Malcolm Huckabee made the point in studio about the turnovers. It's been a big generator of offense for both of these teams in this first half. Points off of those turnovers.
Woods from Brumbaugh. No. Long rebound. Adlon El Amin, the freshman from Arlington, Virginia. Here's another freshman, part of a highly touted freshman class. Perryman, no. But the veteran Clark cleans it up, and we're tied at 40.
You know, it's in transition, it's early offense, but you have got to find Gary Clark. He is always on the offensive glass.
And I love the fact that Gary Clark is not shooting 3-pointers this year. He has yet to attempt one, while in his first 3 college seasons, he was a 31% shooter with pretty good volume. He's doing other things this year for Utah State.
Here are these points off of turnovers. Been a big storyline in this first half, especially for Utah State. And then there's the freshman, and then you just let him go. I mean, you've got to get a body and a sustained body on Gary Clark. The thing you love, too, he's coming off of the bench. And talking to Jerry Calhoun, Clark hasn't said one word about it. Just goes about his business. Comes off the bench and immediately makes an impact.
Another rebound, his 4th of the day, but the Aggies turn it over.
Tell you what, Utah State has manufactured some crazy ways to turn the ball over in this first half. We've seen guys airmail some passes. We've seen guys dribble it off their leg. We just saw that. I mean, just some wild ways to turn it over unforced.
And that contributes to a 4-minute scoring drought. No made field goals during that time. Off the jab step, Williams misfires. Shot clock is off. Utah State can hold for a final shot. Looks like they're going to use a timeout so that Jared Calhoun can draw something up. We'll take a break and be back in 30 seconds. Will be followed this afternoon here in Charleston with Malcolm Huckabee's alma mater, Boston College, taking on Steph Curry's alma mater, the Davidson Wildcats. Scheduled for a 3:30 tip here on ESPN2. With Chris Patola, I'm Doug Sherman. We have liked what we've seen from both sides so far today, and Tulane very much looks like it can hang with Utah State. Especially if they shoot it the way that they have in their backcourt. Brumball, that guy right there. Rowan Brumball and Asher Woods have had a nice first half, and then their defense, Percy Daniels, the back half of their defense, their matchup zone has been really activated. Elijah Perryman, the former Clayton Valley Charter School Ugly Eagle. Yes, that was their nickname. Here he's got the basketball back. Finds Collins for three. Got a good look. Ball bounces around. And before the horn sounds, we've got 1/10 of a second on the clock. A held ball is called. And on the possession arrow, it'll stay at this end. So that's actually a big break. Yeah, well, it's on the other side. It's a killer for Utah State because obviously you had a shot there, chance to get the ball to start the second half, and now you've got to have a tip in. You waste a possession basically. But a good break for Tulane. Short of something crazy, they'll have the basketball to start the second half. Perryman puts it in, and with 1/10 of a second on a bounce pass, no chance at all to put it up. Ron Hunter fired up his green wave. Playing well, shooting the ball well. Tied at 40 with Utah State. We send it back to the studio with Coach and Huck. Here's Zubin Mahenti. You're watching ESPN's Feast Week presented by Lowe's. We are here at TD Arena for the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic. Getting ready for the start of the second half between Utah State and Tulane in one of the most walkable cities and beautiful cities in the entire country. With Chris Patola, I'm Doug Sherman. Welcome back, everybody. First half was wildly entertaining with both teams getting up and down. Both teams turned the ball over a lot, but what do you see heading into the second half? Yeah, good offense. I mean, both teams look comfortable against the other's matchup zone. They did it in different ways. Tulane shot the ball well, made 7 threes, and they made their free throws. They were 9 of 9, whereas Utah State attacked the paint. They dominated the paint. So to your point, Doug, turnovers were where both teams struggled. If they could take care of the basketball when they have been able to hold on to it, both teams did a nice job executing. Utah State controlled the paint, controlled the glass, out-rebounding Tulane 20-11. But the Green Wave, after using an early timeout, Ron Hunter didn't like what he saw, and they seemed to me like a different team. He goes back to his same starting five to begin the second half, including the sophomore KJ Green at the point, and he is fouled. It's a silly foul. Tulane has been, they're shooting 83% from the foul line as a team. They went 9 of 9 in the first half. That's over-helping, and just a reach in, and you allow KJ Green on the first possession of the second half to march to the line and see 2 easy ones go in. You have got to play Tulane without fouling. These two teams took much different paths getting here to Charleston because of the 2 time zone difference. Utah State came in on Tuesday, practiced here Wednesday, had a practice here yesterday. Meanwhile, Tulane, because of travel delays with their airline, didn't get here until late last night. They had a full practice in New Orleans yesterday before finally getting here around 7 o'clock last evening, and then came to the arena and had a very brief shoot around. But neither team seems worse for wear. Help side defense by the point guard, Drake Allen, who is not your traditional point. And again, coming out of Eagle Mountain, Utah, he did not have a single Division I scholarship offer, but he is wildly versatile and useful on both ends. Off the inbound, Asher Woods. Percy Daniels sets a screen for Brumbaugh. He has had the range all afternoon.
And Ron Hunter loves finding Brumbaugh on under out of bounds and side out of bounds. You know it's going to Brumbaugh.
16 points for the redshirt junior from Washington, D.C. Falslev answers at the other end. The two guys who have really stood out so far this afternoon, trading three-point shots.
Well, the best player on both teams. They have both shown up in this game.
Falslev with a game-high 17 points. Brumbaugh with 16. Woods off the bounce, draws the foul, and he'll shoot two.
It's a silly foul. I mean, you get him to take a tough shot, a tough two, and you end up fouling him. There's that under out of bounds set, and then here's Mason Falslev. That's too much space. You know, he's a nice little jab step to create a little bit more. You know, these two guards are, seeing them in person, Doug, they are bigger and stronger than you kind of get the sense on tape. I mean, Falslev's 200 pounds, well built, and Brumbaugh the same, about 185 pounds. They're both 6'4", so they have really good size for their positions.
And as I mentioned in the first half, Falslev had more college football offers as an athlete. Multiple Power 5 schools offered him, but he instead chose basketball. He originally committed to Utah. Then during his LDS mission, there was a coaching change at Utah, and he changed course to instead go to his hometown school in Logan, Utah, and it's been a marvelous marriage between the Aggies and Mason Falslev. Little teardrop inside by Carson Templin, the junior from Fairview, Texas. Brumbaugh to the corner. Templin must have gotten a piece of it.
Templin's going to have to guard in the corner there. You drive him like you did on the last possession. It's going to be tough to shoot over the top of that size.
And it's tough to stay in front of Mason Falslev. He gets another foul call. This one goes against Woods, his first.
Oh. Smart. What a play by Drake Allen. Sees Percy Daniels head turned, throws it off his back. Veteran guards. Veteran guards.
Good to see Allen back in the lineup for Coach Calhoun today. Suffered a high ankle sprain against Weber State. Didn't play the last time out against UTEP. And here is what he brings to this team.
Just Percy Daniels had no idea. What a smart play.
Did you ever do that at Army?
Yes.
Successfully?
No.
This is Utah State's first lead since 28-27. MJ Collins, who was known for his defense more than his offense. First couple of years in college for Mike Young at Virginia Tech. Among the double-figure scorers so far today, he averages over 16 per game on the young season.
Saying Doug Sherman, I'm known for my offense too.
Well, you know, anybody,
gaudy numbers I'm putting up this year, Doug.
Anyone who gets to college, you know, was a good scorer, if not a great scorer in high school. They can score, they just maybe ask for a different role. Collins gives way to perhaps the quicker Falslev, who got the easy 2 points. You'd have fought your teammate for that breakaway. Out of bounds, Curtis Williams Jr. It's a 9-1 run for the Aggies.
I mean, I think that went through Curtis Williams' legs. and a killer turnover because you have zero defensive balance and you give Falslev an easy one.
Well, he is well on his way to a potential new career high. He scored 28 against North Texas last November. He's got 19 and counting. That's a season high for the 6'4" junior. Drake Allen. He's got the touch from downtown. It's a 6-point Utah State lead, matching their largest of the game.
Where you can get lazy in a matchup zone where you, instead of coming together to do that switch, you just kind of assume it's going to happen, and Drake Allen read it perfectly.
Clean look from the corner. Woods, though, was short. And a foul off the rebound.
You know, these matchup zones, they're switching this up top, but if you get lazy with it, look at what Drake Allen, he thinks there's going to be, or Brumbaugh thinks there's going to be a switch, and Drake Allen just steps into that shot.
Now a big foul, Chris, that Carson Templin has picked up his third, so the 6'9", 230-pound big will take a seat on the bench for Utah State. He's been replaced by Tucker Anderson, a 6'9" junior from Arkansas. Big finish inside for Tyler Ringgold.
I'll tell you what, he is going to be a player. A redshirt sophomore. He redshirted. He was at Texas A&M his freshman year. Redshirted there. You know, played about half the minutes last year he's playing now. He shows you there, just flashes the talent there.
Yeah, 6'8", 225, averaging 11 and 5. Gary Clark into the game. Immediately earns a trip to the line.
And this is big time. Splitting with the behind the back and then the finish through contact. Big time play by Tyler Ringgold.
Second foul on Middleton. And Ringgold has been playing a little bit out of position this year after the passing of Greg Glenn. There were plans to use Ringgold differently, but it doesn't seem to have hindered his ability to impact this team.
You know, that was one of the things when you and I were talking to Ron Hunter last night about the tragic passing with how good Glenn was. I mean, he was a fantastic player and did so much for this team. But to what you're saying, Doug, as Ron was telling us, these other guys have had to step into roles that maybe they weren't comfortable with.
Williams flashes to the bucket, gets the pass, and lays it in. 8 points now for the young man out of Brother Rice High School outside of Detroit. King. Anderson. Got it.
Where if you're able to overload that side, the matchup zone can't account for it, and that's what Tucker Anderson does. He's a stretch big. About 70% of his shots in the year are threes.
And Chris, the Aggies just continue to make shots. They have connected on their last 5 from the floor to maintain their 6-point lead. Brumbaugh creates a little space. Missed the shot, though. Collins pulls it down.
He's really good with that off arm, huh? Just giving that little nudge to create his space.
If it's not called, it's not a foul. Just over 5 minutes gone here in this second half, our first game of the Low Country bracket at the 2025 Shriners Children's Charleston Classic. 6 straight made buckets, and this is the largest lead of the afternoon for Utah State, thanks to the three-pointer from Colby King.
Top of that zone for Tulane has become a vulnerability.
The takeaway by Allen, and here come the Aggies with numbers. Collins attacks, and he is fouled by Ringgold. And so Collins gets a hand to get up off the deck. He will head to the free throw line to shoot a pair when we come back to Charleston, South Carolina. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's.
Utah State was 2 of 9 from 3 in the first half. They are 4 of 5 to start this second half. That top of the key has been a problem for that matchup zone of Tulane's. And then guys finding space in those corners. The other issue for Tulane has been the 3 turnovers that they have led to runouts. They're leading to these 2 free throws right here for MJ Collins.
Both teams shooting better than 40% from the arc today. Utah State getting the better of it lately on a 19-5 run. with MJ Collins at the line out of Westminster Catawba Christian School in Rock Hill, South Carolina.
It's been the one thing for Tulane, Doug. They have taken very good care of the basketball this season, only averaging 8 turnovers a game. They've got 10 on the day, and the 3 in this second half have really helped open this game up for Utah State.
And again, a national audience might not be fully aware of just how good this Utah State program has been for a long, long time. They have been to the last 3 NCAA tournaments with 3 different head coaches. That's only been done once before in college basketball history, if you exclude interim head coaches. Drive and dish to find JoJo Moore for his first 2 points.
You know, that cut to the middle, if you get a baseline drive against that matchup zone, that cut to the middle, that middle of the paint will be open.
Collins took his eye off that pass from Allen. It's another Utah State turnover. So Collins will be replaced by Falslev, who's got 19 points to lead all scorers. Brumbaugh, the preseason player of the year in the American Conference, going to work against Falslev. Scotty Middleton looking to go one-on-one. He pulls up from 3. Streaking for the rebound, Colby King.
It's not a good possession. You're never able to get inside the defense, and a Scotty Middleton 3 there is not what you wanted.
Meanwhile, Utah State goes right back into the paint to their money man, Gary Clark. The 5th year from St. Louis, delivering off the bench, and it's an 11-point lead. Brumbaugh just telegraphed that pass. Falslev was waiting for it and then draws the foul.
He's just reading it. I mean, Falslev is just reading that play. Just a lazy, careless pass. And then Gary Clark Jr., the work he has done around the basket this year has been as good as anybody in the Mountain West. What a find out of the portal.
No doubt. Second foul on Brumbaugh. Excuse me, Chris. He will stay in with about 13 minutes left. And then a giveaway foul on the inbound committed by Josiah Moore. First on the sophomore out of Rouse High School, Leander, Texas. His coach says he reminds me a lot of Sion James, who played 4 years at Tulane. Of course, last year at Duke turned himself into an NBA player, having a terrific rookie season with the Charlotte Hornets. Again, Ron Hunter has seen both up close and personal, and he thinks there are similarities with JoJo Moore. Utah State has made 8 shots in a row.
And Mason Falslev is putting on a show here in Charleston.
Brumbaugh tries to go to the other side with the left hand. Clark was not fooled. It goes out of bounds back to Utah State.
Falslev is feeling it. His defense, and, you know, again, you're in a zone. You don't need to come that far over off of that guy. He is doing it on both ends.
Falslev has leadership qualities that Jared Calhoun compares to any players he has been around over the years, including Joe Mazzulla, the former point guard at West Virginia, now the head coach of the Celtics, who Coach Calhoun has been very close with for many, many years. He says Mason Falslev has that kind of character, and the guys follow his lead.
He's also rocking an elite mustache.
Well, he's 24. When I was 24, I still wasn't shaving, so I'm jealous.
I'm still not shaving.
Under 12 minutes now, Ringgold into a double team. And it's a defensive foul that will send number 0 to the free throw line. And that takes us to our under 12 media timeout after the personal called against Gary Clark, his second. There are 3 generations of Ron Hunter in the building here in Charleston. On the left is the 82-year-old father of the head coach of Tulane, who flew in from Dayton, Ohio. And then that's R.J. Hunter. On the right, he was on the staff of his dad, Ron Hunter. Of course, R.J. best remembered for helping lead Georgia State into the NCAA tournament a number of years ago. There is Dad, and Dad remembered for his Achilles injury and falling off the chair when R.J. made the big shot.
He was telling us he's actually torn both of his Achilles. So it's mostly golf now.
Yep.
It was interesting asking him about R.J., and he said R.J. did not call me dad when he played for me. Called me coach. He said, I didn't really get to spend as much time as you would like as a dad with R.J. while I've been coaching until I coached him. And then now he's on my staff, and now we get to spend even more time together. And he said it's just been such a rewarding experience, the two of them working side by side.
And of course, RJ was a first-round draft pick, played in the NBA for a few years and professionally overseas, and he's still of an age, still young enough that he can play. And I asked him during this morning's warm-up, are you still the best shooter on this floor right now? And he said no, but he said, you know what I really am thinking.
Perry Clark.
In the middle of it all, one more time.
I mean, he is just always on the offensive glass. Just never stops working. And then you bring in Carson Templin. You know, sometimes those two will play together, but it's really that rotating duo that Jared Calhoun has at his exposure.
Templin playing with 3 fouls now. 11:20 to go in regulation in this first semifinal of the Low Country bracket here in Charleston. We have 4 games to be played here today. Williams trying to back down Falslev with 2 on the timer. Collins quickly into the front court to the freshman Perryman.
Utah State's defense has been much better in this second half. Much better defending the three-point line and much better guarding the ball.
Falslev with another clean look. A rare miss. Woods pass finds the cutter, and the layup is missed by Josiah Moore.
That's how you draw it up, though. You know, you've got to get inside that zone with penetration. And Woods did a nice job. He just blew the layup.
It's one of those where he passed his teammate open, right?
No question. Yeah, it's a great point.
So cool. Pass is kicked by Woods. Reset the timer to 20. There you see the games coming up in our other bracket called the Palmetto bracket. Davidson, Boston College, 3:30 Eastern, and then West Virginia, Clemson on ESPNU, 6:30 Eastern time. Always neat to be at these multi-team events to see all the different fans wearing their gear, walking around King Street here in Charleston. 3-ball good by Colby King, the former Tulane player, extends to the largest lead of the game for Utah State.
Wonder if this second half, the way they've shot it, gets Utah State going from 3.
Perryman, Falslev, right to the rim one more time. 24 points, and the run continues for the Aggies.
This defense for Utah State has been turned up, much more activated. Turnovers leading to runouts, leading to this differential.
Here's our Saturday SEC on ABC College Football triple header. John Mateer and number 8 Oklahoma host 22nd ranked Missouri at noon Eastern. Then Arch Manning and 17th ranked Texas host Arkansas on the 40 acres. And we cap the day with number 20 Tennessee and Florida in the Swamp. Each game is also available on the all-new ESPN app. SEC All Day presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. Here in Charleston, South Carolina with Chris Spatola I'm Doug Sherman as Utah State has seized control of the ball game using a 31-8 run. Points off turnovers, a huge part of the story, Chris.
It really has. It's been the story of the second half. Mason Falslev has 5 steals in the game. I mean, just been so disruptive at the top of that zone.
Coming out of the timeout. Good offense run by Tulane to find Scotty Middleton for his second made 3 of the game.
And Utah State has shot it well in this second half. You know, Jerry Calhoun telling us before the game, they have not shot it well from 3 as he thinks they will be able to.
Templin, no. Falslev fights for the basketball, but he was the last to touch. Chris, what makes Mason Falslev such a good thief? Again, he was 11th in the country last year at 2.5 steals per game and off to a great start again this year.
I think he has great awareness. He's very good at anticipating. He's comfortable now in that zone. I mean, the zone has specific movements and how it sort of morphs itself. He's become very comfortable in that. And there's a want to. I mean, you got to, you know, there's got to be an effort attached to all of that.
So it's not the mustache.
Well, that's part of his superpower. You've got to have something.
Number 12 in blue leading all scorers today with 24 points and with those 5 steals at the other end. Perryman loses it on the way up, but that's going to be the 3rd foul of the game against Brumbaugh. He has had a quiet second half so far for Tulane.
Tough there. But you were right. He has had a tough second half. I think in part they have made his catches harder. They've been a little bit more physical with him, and they've kept him off the foul line.
At the line now, Elijah Perryman. He's a member of the highest rated recruiting class in Utah State history. He and Adlon El-Amin are in the rotation currently. Perryman started at point the last time out, filling in for the injured Drake Allen. But you've got Kingston Tosi, Braden Bowe, and David Uweze, 3 highly touted recruits who are at this point looking like they're going to redshirt this year. So Coach Calhoun and his staff have continued to stockpile talent for this talent-rich program. Middleton able to escape the double team. Can Tulane make him pay? Brumbaugh to the corner. Green got it.
Good patience from Tulane. You know, Utah State in that matchup, they have what they call random attacks. So if the ball handler turns his back, they're going to send a double. They did it twice on that possession. Tulane able to play out of it, and you end up with a 3 on the back end.
72-59 Utah State. This game was tied at 40 at halftime. King attacking. Tries the reverse. And a personal is going to be called against Scotty Middleton. We'll take a break with 7:27 remaining in this first semifinal of the afternoon from Charleston, South Carolina.
Introducing Verts. Swipe for news and highlights. Now available on the ESPN app.
Which I don't need to tell you, but that all-new ESPN app is awesome. I assume everybody watching has it. I know my partner, Chris Tola, has it. I know Coach Hunter has it. Everybody's got it.
I think a lot more people do now. After all the disputing that went on, that finally got settled.
Thankfully. Here's a look at Colby King, the senior from Pompano Beach, Florida. Like so many Division I college basketball players, he has had a circuitous route throughout his collegiate days. Freshman year at St. John's for Mike Anderson. Sophomore year for Tulane, coincidentally, for Coach Hunter. And then last year, he was a key reserve for Butler. Shot the ball well, but moved on to Utah State, to this program that has been to the last 3 NCAA tournaments and 4 of the last 5. Brumbaugh, well short, just nicked the iron. Collins similarly left an NCAA tournament team last year at Vanderbilt for a bigger role, starting, scoring the basketball for Utah State.
Yeah, he has certainly landed on his feet, especially offensively. And you know, these runouts, I mean, how many times have we seen off a turnover or a missed basket by Tulane Utah State off to the races with a numbers advantage.
Foul number 3 on Percy Daniels. And I don't think enough people around the country, hardcore college basketball fans, fully appreciate how good Utah State has been and how big a deal it is in Logan, Utah. This is the 56th year of their arena. It's called the Spectrum, and in 56 years, Chris, they have had one losing season on their home court. They have won better than 80% of their games in over half a century that they've played at home.
Of course, moving to the Pac-12 next year, they and what was it, 4 other Mountain West schools,
along with Gonzaga and Texas State. Outside of the Mountain West, by the way, the only Pac-12. Utah State's got a couple of players who are NBA champions still playing in the NBA, right in the prime of their careers. Neemias Queta, in his 5th year in the NBA, he was a NBA champion with the Celtics, this year averaging about 9 points and 8 rebounds a game as a starter for Boston. And then Sam Merrill, who was the first draft pick out of Utah State in a long, long time, and now his 6th year. He won a title his rookie year for the Milwaukee Bucks.
You know, Jared Calhoun is an Ohio guy, a Cleveland guy, played at a really famous high school in Cleveland, Villa Angela St. Joseph. Played for a legendary coach, guy named Ted Kwasniak, who passed away this past year. And was talking to Jared about Coach Kwasniak before the game, because Coach Kwasniak's son Babe was a teammate of mine at Army. And Jared Calhoun said he was like a father to me. You know, it's just it was sad news. But of course, Youngstown State, Jared Calhoun is an Ohio Cleveland guy.
And he is also out of the Bob Huggins coaching tree. Spent time in West Virginia, so he knows all about fostering family in a program, and he has picked up where the previous coaches left off. He had both of his current NBA players, Queta and Merrill, come back in the summer for a big fundraiser. Timeout called by Tulane after the 3-point bucket from Asher Woods. The Green Wave trying to make one last push. They had an 11-0 run in the first half. They need something similar to happen here late in the second.
We'll see if they start picking up here a little bit. You know, they play at one of the slowest tempos offensively in the country. Their defense forces their opponent to play slow. So there's only so many possessions left in this game. So how do you create those? We'll see out of this timeout if Tulane picks up their pressure a little bit.
Here's a look at the later games. Our semifinals from the other bracket. West Virginia and Clemson scheduled for a 6:30 tip on ESPNU, followed on E2 by Georgia and Xavier. .6:19 remaining in our first semifinal, with Boston College and Davidson to follow, scheduled for about a 3:30 tip-off here in Charleston. Out of the timeout, a little full court pressure by Tulane. Collins hangs in the air, goes to the left hand and finishes. He is in his bag to make it 78-62.
Well, it's just a great individual play. I mean, caught strong, nice jab step, went to his left and finished left.
In his hometown outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, is only about 3 hours, 3:15 from here. He's got a number of family members who've made the drive down, and they are watching MJ Collins deliver. He has reached his season average right now with 16 points. And his career high is within sight. He put 20 on Louisville a couple of years ago when he was playing for Virginia Tech. Actually, that was his career high coming into the year. He's topped that a couple of times already. How about Colby King? He's only 6'1", but attacks the trees. Another near turnover. Here's Brumbaugh, who had 13 points in the first half, and now just 6 in the second half.
Able to get that one off a broken play.
Falslev working off of 2 feet, under control, pulls it back out when there was nothing in the lane. Allen uses the screen. Clark rolls, extra pass to find King. Got it! Some beautiful offense again for Coach Calhoun's Aggies.
It's great offense, and Gary Clark showed you how to play out of that short roll. Good skip by him to the corner, then that one extra pass for the 3.
Josiah Moore doesn't see the second defender coming. Collins nearly got it away. The ball comes to a free man, and Woods buries the 3.
Another example of that random attack. Ball handler turns his back. That other defender's coming, and if you're Tulane, you get a little lucky there with a wide open 3.
And if you're the ball handler, you've got to have help from your teammates there.
No question. Communication.
Clark. How was he playing at Texas A&M Corpus Christi and other smaller level schools before this year?
He was not this productive. Now, he was first team all Southland last year, but, you know, Mountain West, is all due respect, is going to be a different level. He's just a workhorse, man. I mean, he is always around the glass, has shown you a little bit of that skill, and you made the point. I mean, he has been a 3-point shooter in the past. Has not taken one yet this year.
But when you make 80% of your 2-point shots, as he has done so far this season, why on earth would you ever venture out? He started at Western Texas Junior College, then Tarleton State, then Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Boy, the folks in Logan, Utah, happy to have Gary Clark around this year. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere. In his 4th year, first at Utah State, MJ Collins has really emerged and has come into his own on both ends of the floor.
He has. You know, he wanted to be a starter. That's why he transferred out of Vanderbilt. He wanted to be much more of an offensive impact player for a team, and he has been that so far. Certainly today. There's a precision to his game, a sharpness. You know, there's not a lot of wasted motion to the way MJ Collins plays.
And he has told me in the past that if his Aunt Nikki is in attendance, you usually hear her. I've not heard Aunt Nikki, so I'm guessing she didn't make the trip to Charleston. But he's got lots of support from his family members who have come down from the Charlotte area. Again, out of Westminster Catawba Christian School in Rock Hill, South Carolina. He also attended Combine Academy, also in the Charlotte area. And here is Drake Allen. Oh for 2 at the line, but the long rebound comes out to King. King. Well, Coach Calhoun wanted them to take their time. He said wait. They did, work the ball around and found another good look for 3 more. Moore is fouled by Allen. 4 different Aggies have reached double figures. Falslev 24, Collins 18. King, who we just saw, who has 16 points, and Gary Clark with 11. Here is tonight's featured ESPN women's college basketball matchup. Number 11 USC squaring off against Hannah Hidalgo at 34 points per game. And the 24th ranked Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. It's also available on the all-new ESPN app.
This is a deeper, more athletic Utah State team this year than the one that played in the tournament last year, and I think we've seen the impact on Tulane. I think it has worn them down in this second half.
Again, Daniels, the help defender, with another block shot. Clark is slow to get up, but he appears to be okay. Tulane playing 5-on-4, gets an open look and cashes it in. Curtis Williams with another three-point shot.
I tell you, Percy Daniels blocking shots today has been really impressive.
That is his 4th block shot.
And he's coming over to block that. I mean, really good timing without fouling. Nice job by him in the back end of that zone today.
And the stoppage was by the officials to clean up the perspiration from where Clark went down. And now he has gone out of the ball game and is talking at the end of the bench with their trainer. He's still on his feet, but did walk over with a little bit of a limp. Here's King for a new season high. No, he's still stuck on 16. Foul on the rebound. There's a look at Gary Clark, averaging 14 and 11. But he went down hard after the block shot by Percy Daniels. Second foul on Curtis Williams sends Carson Templin to the line. More perspiration being wiped up off the floor. Well, Carson Templin is one of 4 Aggies who are members of the LDS faith. He grew up in Fairview, Texas. And we can call him the Blonde Bomber. Thanks to the way he plays, his look with that headband, he is a huge crowd favorite back in Logan, Utah. He is just one of those energy guys who now in his 3rd year in the program has built himself into a very valuable piece. And Coach Calhoun compares him to Justin Bean, who had a great career at Utah State. Long-range 3 missed by Robert Moore, the freshman from right here in Charleston, getting his first opportunity to play. He is perhaps the best shooter on a Tulane team that has struggled to shoot from the perimeter this year. And Ron Hunter said, I'm toying on getting him in. My son RJ's been pushing me to get him in. And so here in his hometown, a chance for Robert Moore. Here's Collins for 3.
That 3-point shot has come alive for Utah State in the second half.
Williams from the baseline. Time is called by Calhoun to get a couple of his deep bench reserves in the ball game. Jordy Barnes, Luke Kearney will come in. And now for tonight's player of the game, brought to you by Shriners Children.
Mason Falkslev, look at that efficiency. 11 of 15, and he's got 4 or 5 steals as well. I mean, he's just played on both sides of the basketball. One of the best players in the Mountain West right there.
Yeah, made the all-defensive team in the Mountain West last year while being second-team all-conference, well on his way to being first-team all-conference. 2-time Oscar Robertson National Player of the Week last season. Kearney just off the bench, and he gets the roll for 3. The Air Force transfer from Phoenix makes the score 96-72. Moore, he's got himself his first 3 college points. The hometown kid out of Porter Gaud School here in Charleston makes it 96-75. King draws 2 defenders. Templin pulls up. Air ball long. Final 10 seconds. Utah State doesn't need to take a shot, and they won't. An impressive second half in a game that was tied at 40 at the intermission is all Utah State over the final 20 minutes.
And it started early, right off the jump in this second half. That three-point shot and the ability to turn Tulane over, leading to points, really stretched this differential.
Utah State improves to 5-0, winning our first semifinal here in Charleston. They advance to the championship game Sunday night on the Low Country bracket. That'll do it for now. We'll be back in about 30 minutes here on ESPN2 with our second semifinal, Davidson and BC. But in the meantime, we go back to the studio with Malcolm and Seth. Here is Zubin.
Doug, Chris,